Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is the regular Wednesday co-stream that we do. We co-stream on this on Futuraza, Brian White's channel, on Nick Gibbs' Investing Against the Grain channel. The three of us have been doing this now, I don't know, it feels like about a year, but we have lively debates. We all have different opinions for sure. What we're going to do today, we'll start off with just all the things that are happening to Tesla. It seems like every single week something big is happening. And what we want to do is lay out what we think is going to happen in the next month and two and by the end of this year. And then we're going to get into this big giant cybercab debate that's reared its head up again, and whether or not they're going to sell the cybercab with steering wheels and pedals to the public as the more affordable vehicle. We have both pros and cons. We have some smart people and not so smart people on this channel. On this panel.
Uh-oh. Which one of us is the pro and who is the con?
Leave in the comments down below.
You'll find out below. We're going to try something new. Also, we're going to show the comments on the stage as they fly through. So please write more comments. Be fair. Be kind, but let's try this and see how this works. And then I do want to do more of these audience questions. And so as you leave a question, I will kind of star it, and then we'll get to a point where we can answer some of these questions. Okay, so let's start with what are the big events that you're expecting to happen in the next month, two, and by the end of this year? 2 months, I guess. We're already at the end of October. Why don't you start, Brian?
Well, yesterday we saw a big expansion of the robotaxi service area in Austin. So I guess in the next month, I'm going to start that yesterday. I'm going to pretend this hasn't happened yet, and then I'm about to predict something that's about to. It happened yesterday. We've got a massive coverage area. The days of Waymo trying to compete on service area in Austin, I think, are done, because when Tesla first put their service area out, Waymo was like, "Oh, we should expand ours a little bit," and they did. And every time Tesla would expand theirs, Waymo would try and catch up a little, and they didn't on the last one, and they certainly don't look poised to on this one, because they don't got enough cars. Even if Waymo could absolutely nail it today and say we are ready to ramp to 1 billion units, they don't have 1 billion units to ramp into. And even if they did, there are too many fingers in the pie. There's too many layers to it. Everybody wants their cut. Uber wants their cut. The manufacturers want their cut. And of course, Waymo and their shareholders want their cut. This is, a lot. Oh boy, robotaxi's dead. This big floppy clown in Malibu said so. And turns out he doesn't know. And he's not in Malibu. He's in Santa Clara or somewhere. I don't know. He's somewhere very nice. But yeah, robotaxi expanding is the first big one I would bring up. Nick, do you have any big things coming up in the next month?
I don't know, Brian. Where are we going next week?
Well, I mean, the shareholder meeting obviously is on top of everyone's mind. It's the reason Robin Denholm is on the news as we speak. Maybe not at this moment, but she's been making the circuit. She's been out there, and that's not something she usually does. There's a lot of attention being drawn. Now, we do have the shareholder vote. If you haven't voted your shares, please do. If you believe Elon can hit these milestones, these seemingly impossible milestones, you should vote for it. And if you think he can't, you should vote for it, because then he has to work for free. That'll stick it to the man. That'll show him. So a vote yes is a vote against Elon. We got him. It's a big package. And the only complaint I've seen is people saying it's on autopilot. He's going to get paid no matter what. No, he's not. I say name 3 of the milestones that'll definitely happen with or without anything amazing happening. They'll hit the number of total cars sold. Well, that's great. But if Tesla shrinks to 1.2 million sales a year over the next 10 years, they'll hit it. But the stock wouldn't hit any performance metrics with falling sales and no new products. Got to think it through, fudsters and doubters. Thoughts?
Yeah, so just real quick, just because it's kind of breaking news right now. So the Fed did cut a quarter basis point, but that's actually not the news. The news is that they have officially decided they're going to go ahead and essentially stop buying back assets in December. So in other words, they're turning the vacuum off of taking money out of the system. So that's a pretty big deal. You can see the market's a little uneasy right now, or just kind of wishy-washy. It's probably, I mean, I don't know why. No one actually knows why, right? The market's doing what it's doing. It's just probably all algorithmic, but it does spell a word of caution that the Fed might be a little late, but don't read too much into it. Let's see what Powell says in about 30 minutes or 23 minutes. Now, back to the topic, more interesting things. The rest of the year. So, Herbert, I'm assuming you're talking about Tesla as a company, or are you talking about Tesla as a stock, or are you just talking about
Both. Yeah.
Okay. So I think when it comes to the stock, I don't think there is really much left that will happen the rest of the year that will move the stock, in my opinion, that Tesla will affect. When I say that, well, I'll tell you what I think will move the stock. I think on Thursday, Trump China, I've been saying this for about a week now. I think all trade discussions end by the end of this year. So I think all that can move the market. Obviously, right now, the Fed, they just made a rate cut. There'll be another rate cut in December. That will move the markets. I think there's a lot more in the macro that will move the markets for better or worse. I don't know which way it's going to move it, but it will move the markets. And I do think that I don't want to be like the boy who cries wolf, or the one who's just like, saying, hey, the ship's sinking. But we are at very interesting levels when it comes to margin debt out there. We're very, very frothy. We're very richly valued. You've got record levels on the Buffett indicator. Like, there's just lots of things that say, hey, we could be due for a significant pullback. And again, that could be 10, 15, 20%. I don't know. But, we've already seen lots of signal out there. We've seen a potential regional bank credit crisis. We saw a quick 3%, was it last Thursday, Friday? You see Kathy Woods even warning about a dip to start next year. You just see lots of people talking about this right now. So, and now on top of that, you see how jittery the market is, where any kind of like hesitation of anything with trade, like, in reality, this whole China-U.S. trade stuff shouldn't move the markets as violently as it is, but it is. And it's just, all these things just kind of lead me to want to be a little more conservative. It's not financial advice. I'm just telling you how I'm thinking about things. I think we're all essentially at all-time highs in our portfolio. If you're not, you're probably pretty damn close. It's just not the time to be making big bets, in my opinion. I would rather take some off the table, have some cash, so that when things are a little easier or something does happen, you have something to deploy. So again, I'm not telling you to sell your shares. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing my answer to Herbert's comment about what's going to move things and what I'm looking to the coming for the rest of the year. And just to round this out, why do I not think anything Tesla will do will move the stock? Well, I think much like right now, where the stock market's not blowing up or down, the 25 basis point cut has been baked into the market. I think Elon's comp package passing is baked into the market. I think that when it comes to removing the driver in Austin, I think that's probably going to happen like in the last week, and it'll probably start off with like 20 cars. And it's just not going to be something that's going to be as boom as we have thought everything would be boom, right? We thought, oh, they launched robotaxi in Austin, boom, the stock would explode. No, didn't happen. We thought, hey, once they start expanding, boom, it would explode. Nope, that didn't happen. We thought, right, when they go to California, boom, nope, it hasn't. So with Tesla, it's all been kind of a slow grind. And I would expect that to not change. And so for that, I think everything's kind of baked in already.
Yeah.
There's more reasons. There's more anything we don't know. I could see it being more negative for the stock and just in general the market than positive. I think kind of the rest of the year, I think is kind of baked in. And that doesn't mean we can't go higher. I just think if we're going to go higher, it's just going to be a slow, steady grind up. So that's kind of, I'm seeing it right now on October 29th. I reserve to change my opinion as the facts change.
Okay.
Back to you, Herbert.
Yeah. I mean,
I would have a couple points on that. There's a lot of world leaders in Asia at the moment trying to work their own deals. Canada is apparently considering reducing their tariffs on Chinese-made EVs. That would be a big deal. What we're trying to sell in China is the idea that they should still be buying our products and that maybe we will still buy theirs. It's tough because what she sells is seashells by the seashore, and I don't know if we're buying those right now. I said that on the show earlier this week. It bears repeating. There's a lot going on there. For the shareholder meeting itself, with the vote coming up, there's a lot of questions. I think I'm going to go with Nick and say, the approval of Elon's comp plan is baked in. It's a done deal. Retail has mostly cast their votes. If you haven't, now's your chance. But the institutionals don't invest until the last minute on the last day. Their votes post at the last. So there is no known way. They don't know what it's actually going to be. I don't see the institutionals voting against it. We know some have said that they will vote against it. We've seen some that will vote for it, but there's a lot of movement. And to your point about the market generally being good, I looked at my retirement yesterday and found that all of my investments are up, including ARK-K, which I've been holding for years underwater. It's finally over above where I paid by 1.5%. So that's exciting. Do I want to make a move? I don't know what move to make, but it's certainly something to consider.
Okay. Yeah, thank you both. You guys did a fantastic job explaining the macro and the overall things. I agree with you guys. I'm not thinking that there's catalyst for the Tesla stock, but let's go through the list, right? Next week, November 6th, annual shareholder meeting. It's going to be I don't know, you might want to say do or die moment, a big giant fork in the road. If for some reason, very low chance, I think Kalshi puts it at 90%, 95% chance of approval, Elon's CEO performance award is voted down. That's bad news. We all know that would just hit the stock bad. I think right now we think that's going to be positive. So we'll see what happens there. That's a big event that could happen. The next thing, of course,
two handle on the stock. Guaranteed.
What two handle meaning 50%?
200 something. Yeah.
200%, right?
It'd be a $200 something stock.
$200 something stock. Okay. From 400. So 50% cut. Yeah. I think that's where we're mostly thinking. So that would be a big decision point. That's the thing that could happen. It's crunch time. That's what I mean by that. Next week is important. The second thing, of course, is, I just did a live stream this morning with Alexandra Mertz, where we showed the Delaware Supreme Court again. We did the same, a different live stream 2 weeks ago. There's 3 cases that the Delaware Supreme Court is reviewing for Tesla. The one this morning is not that important. It's not going to impact Tesla very much. It's $170 million if it all goes wrong for them. But the one that we did 2 weeks ago was the appeal to the Tornado case. And they might actually share that, announce that ruling. It could be as soon as 30 days, which is 2 weeks from now. It could be 90 days, or they may want to push it off and wait. But we feel, most of us who watched that hearing, that it was very positive for Tesla. The kind of questions that the Supreme Court judges were asking were positive for Tesla. So that needs to come out. Now, again, it's not a do or die for Tesla, right? Because even if it was bad news for Tesla, Tesla has a way that they've already shown how they're going to compensate Elon for his 2018 award. So those are the big ones I can see now. Yeah, I agree with you guys that at this point, him already announcing that we're going to remove the safety driver by the end of this year, that's where you're seeing the stock already kind of rising up like this. And I don't think that day that they do it isn't going to be a major catalyst anymore. And then they've pushed off the bot. So at this point, there's not much of a surprise, right? Is there anything else that we could be surprised? Like, what could they do next week at the shareholder meeting?
Announce a partnership. An FSD partnership would be so juicy. And it could be, there's a lot of players it could be, but I think an announcement, not necessarily a big move, but an announcement would help both companies. And especially if you're a company that has already committed to not developing it, you can see the complications of GM says they're going to have FSD, a real FSD by 28. No, you're not. Because if you were going to do that, we would need to be seeing all the testing. We'd need to be seeing all of the vehicles out on the road gathering data, and it's just not there. The idea that you're going to leapfrog past Waymo's 20 years of genius level engineering to get to that point in 3 years is is implausible.
Yeah, I don't really remember what you asked her, but just to piggyback on that, Brian, when you guys see the vehicles finally being outfitted with the necessary cameras and equipment to capture the data, then maybe we can start talking about when. But until then, and until they start buying the servers, until they start hiring the engineers, like they don't even have the right ingredients in the kitchen, let alone the kitchen. So
They don't have the kitchen. But you're right. That's absolutely
don't.
true. When you look at other players globally, Huawei and BYD both made the data gathering move where they said, we're going to start putting all of the sensors needed on all of the cars so we can get the data to actually crunch. And of course, they've got the engineers, the talent
Mhm.
to make some sense of it. Whether or not it will be the right sense at the right time, we'll find out. Those markets are likely to have little intersect with the West. Uh, Chinese FSD is unlikely to come to the US. And apart from Tesla, US FSD is unlikely to be in China. And even in China, there's reason to be cautious.
I remember your question now, Herbert. Other things that could move the market at the shareholder meeting. I like what you said there, Brian. That's probably the most plausible thing that could happen is an announcement of sorts. But if all of a sudden they said, "Hey, we're going to go live in 1 week from now in Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, Houston, I don't know, Tucson, whatever, like, the 8 to 10 that he mentioned, if they all of a sudden announce, hey, these are going live next week, here's the date, that could move the market, right? But Tesla's not good at the same way we talked about last time, Herbert. Like, they could have moved the market in a serious way with their earnings call if they just led with all the stuff we had to pull teeth to get. They could have had a masterful earnings call. It would have been arguably the best they've ever had. Same way, as they roll out to these cities, they can make a splash about it, but they don't, and they won't. I don't know why. It's, I think, the biggest blind spot that Tesla has, and I think it's a disservice to their employees who have ESPPs, employee stock purchase plans, and it affects them.
Yeah. So do you guys hear, like, there's a lot of news that was just dropped recently, right? So obviously Elon said in response to this announcement that Austin robotaxi service area has expanded by over 100 plus square miles. He said Tesla's autonomous driving, let me share that as we're talking here, is how do I now have to take this off? See that? Tesla's autonomous driving might spread faster than any technology ever. The hardware foundations have been laid for such a long time that a software update enables self-driving for millions of pre-existing cars in a short period of time. Now, he didn't say robotaxi, he said autonomous driving. But all of a sudden, 8 million cars will have the ability to, well, I don't know, totally 8 million, but a big chunk of that, to be able to be autonomous with or without regulations. So that was a very interesting comment. I think we can, obviously, his confidence there. At the same time, we're now hearing that Israel is about to approve robotaxi, and he replied to that, saying thank you, that it's going to be really good. You got new rules for UNECE that allows drivers can keep their hands close to the wheel, ready to intervene for these short initiative maneuvers. That was critical in order for them to roll out FSD. So slowly, these tiny rules are being approved by the UNECE. So maybe they might be heading in this direction. But then we had Boston, the Boston City Council, coming out, and they're talking about banning autonomous vehicles. So there will be a pocket of these cities and states that will say, no way, we're not going to do it. But I think more than less will be chasing the ability to do robotaxi at this point. Yeah, thoughts on any of that?
Well, remember that even though we don't have specific explicit approvals for autonomy in all states, we don't need it. The US is very self-certifying towards automakers, and the fact that there isn't a clearly defined framework doesn't mean it's banned. It just means tread lightly, because they could step in tomorrow and add regulations that would be problematic.
Mhm.
If there are enough states where it is allowed, that I'm not worried about that part of it at all. And yeah, there's going to be some bumps in the road, but if it works, it works, and it becomes undeniable. I had someone telling me the other day, I would never drive a Tesla. And I said, yeah, me either. I almost never drive it at all. Sometimes a little bit at the beginning and end, but if you had the experience behind the wheel that I have, you would also enjoy not driving a Tesla.
Good one, Brad. Love it. Okay. Should we get into a debate? Should we do
Here
this?
we go.
Best
Should
of
we do
luck
this?
to both of you.
Okay, I'm just gonna say it now. Illuminated trees are superior.
Yours is not illuminated, dude.
It's flickering. I'm using rechargeable batteries, and they're terrible.
I'm
Yeah,
using
okay.
sunlight.
Okay. All right. Let's set the stage, guys. Okay. So
We were
basically, I don't know why, but this debate pops up all over again, rearing its head. This idea that Farzad, it was one of the, pretty strongly saying he believes from his analysis, he thinks that the cybercabs, Tesla will sell the cybercabs to consumers with a steering wheel and pedals in order to be able to and sell it as a low cost vehicle. And the reason he thinks that is that if you know that Tesla's already going to mass produce cybercabs and all the cars as much as possible. Elon said is going to increase the production of these cars, but he thinks that there's going to be regulation hiccups where you can't sell 2 million cybercabs, 1 million cybercabs next year. And so he goes, it just makes sense. They're going to put steering wheel and pedals, sell it to consumers. This was just yesterday. There was this Bloomberg article that pointed out that in an interview with Robin Denholm, the chairwoman for Tesla, she made a statement that says, if we have to have a steering wheel, it can have a steering wheel and pedals. And then the idea that if regulators required Tesla to roll out a vehicle with steering wheel and pedals, because some regulations do require that you need to have the steering wheel just for regulation, right? Because they haven't removed those things like side mirrors, those kind of things. They can do it. Doesn't mean that it can be a robotaxi, or it cannot be a robotaxi unless you have these in there. So, Brian has pretty strongly and with reason, he interviewed a number of cybercab engineers, and he's done many shows on this, and he's dug deep into what makes a cybercab, and I'll let him speak for himself, but the cybercab is purposely built for autonomy. There's so many things about the cybercab, the way it's built, that it's not a car you can just take one way and then all of a sudden put steering wheel pedals and sell it. The argument back against that, Brian, is that this is the Unbox model. The whole point of Unbox model is if you want to swap the seats, you can swap the seats. You want to put in, any of these things can happen. I know, Nick, you supported
Debate, or are you just
Farzad.
going to say what all the arguments are, both sides?
All right, there you go. Let's get started.
What are we doing here?
I carried it too far. Go ahead.
So Farzad, of course, loves his engagement. This is his job. He has to have engagement, or he doesn't feel like a success.
Don't change the subject.
He is a success. He's a good boy. We all love him very much, just the way he is. With that said, his big comment when he saw the article was that he was going to go and call out everybody who doubted him, and his only response to me is that he's given me in years is apologize. And so I did. I apologize. I'm sorry you're bad at words. If you look at the Robin Denholm quote, it was, if we have to have a steering wheel, it can have a steering wheel and pedals. If. So unless he thinks that Elon is wrong about autonomy, that autonomy will not be solved in the next 18 to 24 months, then there's no reason for the wheel and pedals. And what Robin is actually saying is they would be largely decorative. They wouldn't be for everyday driving. It would be for last 10 feet maneuvering in case of a, an incident where a police officer says, no, move the vehicle here.
Oh, we just lost you. Are you on mute?
No, that was just God giving me the win.
The mic.
You're back.
I've got a new one ordered. Let me get to the correct mic. So
Just a sign.
it's a sign. No, they would do it. It would be purely decorative at that point, and saying that something may happen. Right? They may release a RoboVan. We've seen RoboVan in prototype form, but that doesn't mean it's on the roadmap. That doesn't mean it's actually happening. And the idea that it would definitely be a low-cost vehicle strains credulity, because enough systems would have to be changed that it would induce significant COGS increases. And for that matter, the people saying it would sell like crazy are ignoring the fact that two-seat vehicles do not sell like crazy in any market. The Miata sold over 1 million units. Yes, and last year they sold about 8,000. The Smart 4 was the best-selling two-seater in Europe for a long time. It was discontinued for low sales. So while I would love to have a vehicle like that, while I would love to buy and own and have a little two-seat coupe that I could drive around, I don't know if I actually would buy one, and I don't know how many people would. And yeah, and the victory lap is premature.
So before I go on, let me first give you guys my credentials as to why you should take what I'm going to say serious. When Farzad came out and talked about using a joystick for future robotaxis, I told him he's a retard. So I am not one who just agrees with anything Farzad says.
Okay.
So those are my credentials. Is that I have told him he has stupid ideas before. Now, with regards to this topic, this is not a Farzad idea. I don't know why everyone is all of a sudden thinking this is a Farzad idea. I threw myself into the ring because I got really annoyed seeing a lot of Tesla, I'm going to say influencers, decide to go out there, and this isn't at Brian because Brian is happy to share his opinions, but go out there and try to bash on Farzad for having a thought of his own or putting out an opinion. When these other people, the only time they even have the testicular fortitude to even say something that hasn't already been blessed, signed, sealed, and delivered by Elon himself is never. They don't say anything. Unless they see something that Tesla has said, they don't have any critical thinking of their own. And you can see it. Even in the arguments, you can see that they went on X. All they're doing is quoting Elon, which isn't even defending the argument or stance that they're taking. So it's kind of comical. So going back to my main point here, this is not a unique idea from Farzad. We all first thought, heard, imagined this idea in Walter Isaacson's book, autobiography of Elon Musk, where Franz and the team, Brian, you're making faces like you disagree.
Biography, not autobiography.
Oh, excuse me. You're right. Correct. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, speak up. I'm not perfect here. I'm talking, trying not to say ums over here. So in the biography, we learned that Franz and the team kind of had a mini mutiny on Elon with this idea of, hey, we need to hedge ourselves. Because if this does not work, if we don't solve for FSD, if we don't have regulation, if any of this happens, we are going to be left holding the bag. And so they proposed an idea to Elon where they could use the same line, same form factor, same platform, same unbox method to build another vehicle that they could sell, and it wouldn't disturb anything. And Elon apparently loved the idea. At first, he was against it, but then once he saw it, he thought it was brilliant. So sometime between that book coming out and us reading that, and now, there has been this point of view that is not still on the roadmap. That is not still happening. And here's my question first in this debate to Brian or Herbert. When did we stop believing that that was still the case? What facts, what quote, what person said to us that that is not still the plan? When? Please share your evidence, and only primary sources will be accepted. Thank you.
So the question is, when did we determine that there would not be a human drivable version? That was the cancellation of the NV91 project in April of 2024. That was the Cybercab human drivable version. And
we got that from where?
Tesla's suppliers, and Tesla confirmed it. NV91 is canceled. It is
Tesla confirmed that? When did Tesla confirm that? I don't remember that.
Okay. If that's so, I have supplier sources. They all confirmed it. I mean, it was a multiple. All of that program is dead. The engineers I spoke to confirmed that there would not be a human drivable version of the Cybercab. They dismissed it as ludicrous nonsense and just not part of the plan.
But
so,
the argument that everyone's making right now is that what we've heard from Elon saying certain things and Robin Denholm saying certain things is this is what they've told us. So not Brian, his sources, like Tesla has not said that's dead of an idea. They have not said Walter Isaacson's book is incorrect. Am I accurate?
I mean, no, it's
I'm not accurate.
It's dead. It is not in development at this time. The human.
How do you know? You haven't actually, like you're telling us that you've spoken to certain people, but we don't know as the public. This has not publicly been said, correct?
If that's the degree to which nitpicking will be done, then we can't know.
It's not nitpicking. That's very basic things. This is very basic. So how am I supposed to just believe you talk to someone in a corner in a shady, smoky room filled with the musk of your cologne?
100 people, with 100 other people there. No, the engineers.
Here's what I asked Grok on this situation. The NV91 called Redwood was Tesla's code name for an entry-level EV priced around $25,000, compact, affordable. The evidence started with Reuters report published in April 2024.
Reuters, hold on, real quick. Reuters, the same.
Yeah, I know.
But be honest, be intellectually honest. The same news source that you both will constantly slam for being
no, totally understand. Okay. Totally understand. In this case, though, they said that it was because of internal all hands meeting attended by dozens of employees. There it gets a little bit more. Just a little bit more of evidence there. By the way, I have not said either way where I stand on this.
We know where you stand, Herbert. Everyone in the room knows where you stand. There's no such thing as you being unbiased on this.
I don't.
What do you mean? Wherever I ever said, whatever I ever done, I'm not one of those people that you said was out there bashing, or as far as that, I've never done that.
We've been on many episodes together talking about this topic.
Yeah, I guess where I lean right now is that it's less likely that they're going to do this at Cybercab. I'm leaning.
How did I know that?
I lean more
because that's what it is.
Yeah, I just lean more towards Brian's analysis because he interviewed multiple engineers and he's very articulate explaining all the reasons why this Cybercab is not designed. He knows the difference between biography and autobiography. We get that. But the point being that the Cybercab, the one that we're seeing now, exactly like it, add steering wheel and sell that as mass.
That's not what Farzad is saying.
Okay, if you're talking about creating a new vehicle based on the same Unbox model, then that's totally different. Anyway, so they did cancel NV91. I believe that is more true than less. And then there's rumors that China is restarting NV91 as of mid-October, which is a month ago. So
single source rumor on that. Social media.
So it can go either way, but that is not what Farzad was saying. Farzad was saying you take the exact Cybercab, slap on steering wheel and pedals, and then you're good to go. And we're all saying no. If you change the seating, you change a bunch of stuff to it, then yes, you can create a new model, the NV91, revive it and sell that, but not take the exact, maybe the same shape, but not, that's
not what Farzad's saying. What he's saying is, and he made a whole video about this, which I don't know if you guys watched it, but he went pretty good detail. But his whole point is if you're going to build this whole line.
Production line.
Let's just call it a line.
Yeah, it's not.
If you're going to build this whole line for the Cybercab, and the whole point of being Unbox is to have this modularity approach so you can move in volume. And as we know, the more you use a given line, the more efficient it is, the better it is for the company, the better it is for profitability, margin, everything, right? Because we don't want to just sit there with dead weight. Then it only makes sense that they would also build another vehicle on that line at the same as well.
For sure, no doubt.
And
Zero doubt on that. Zero doubt.
Well, then, since you're agreeing, I'll just stop there. I won't continue. That's all
multiple
he's saying.
vehicles. Okay, well
That's all he's
that
saying.
makes okay. Well, then that makes sense.
We're done.
Multiple
Brian, do you agree or disagree?
vehicles. Hundreds.
That was the original plan.
The Unbox model is designed to be able to
changed,
swap
but that
out
was the
parts and
original
create
plan.
multiple vehicles. There'll be robovans. There'll be a Zoox.
No, that's different.
vehicle.
That would be a whole different line. That you won't
Why?
have robovan on the same line as that.
Why? It's Unboxed.
Why? It's not just Unbox. It's not a line anymore, right? It's like it's just the model of how they're doing.
No, it's still a
things.
line. It's just in parallel.
Yeah.
Where you're going from a series circuitry to parallel circuitry is all you're doing, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
So the
Well, then
idea
there's-
is
then
the
there's no
idea
debate.
is you've
Yeah.
got a side and a side to a car, right? Let's make it very simple. I can have two different types of sides of that car. I can have it where that side comes on, gets pressed on, and it's these beautiful doors that come up in this beautiful kind of Ferrari McLaren fashion, and that's for your robotaxi, your cybercab. Or I can have this other side that comes on, it's four doors.
It's
I can
pretty
have
obvious.
a different. I can bring in two. Okay, well that's all he's saying.
Nobody
it's pretty
said. Well,
obvious why
then
there's
there's no debate. There's no debate. The debate was whether or not people understood what he's saying is throw on a steering wheel and pedals, and you sell the exact cybercab with steering wheel and pedals because hey, he already pointed out. Can you see that? There's already some in the Good Texas. Yes, they're being done for testing purposes, but not that they're planning to sell that as a low cost vehicle. If that's not what he's saying, it's going to be a different vehicle because they're going to change the seating, they're going to change a bunch of stuff. Then yeah, no doubt they're going to do that. They're going to make many versions of this.
Do you guys think,
The only thing I will say though is that I do believe after what Lars said and what Elon said that they are now going full force on autonomy, that the Roadster will be the last hurrah of a drivable vehicle. That after now, if they're already working on another drivable version of a cybercab, great. But after that, I do think Elon will want to no longer create new models that are drivable. At this point, it's going to be all autonomous. I feel like that's where he's wanted to do a year ago, but now that he knows for sure that autonomy works, he's going to go full force.
my question for both of you is, will FSD be solved in the next 24 months?
It's already solved.
It's already solved, dude.
Then there's your answer.
That's right. Well, it's regulation. So the issue that Farza is bringing up and others is that, if you can have a line that can create 1 million of these, of the cybercab version, not Model Ys and Model 3s, then
Sure.
where would they go if there is not enough jurisdictions to be able to support 1 million robotaxis next year? Therefore, sell it as drivable until you can really get the regulations going.
So what regulations prohibit a steering wheel-less vehicle? It's an imaginary scenario. It's a hypothetical that hasn't come to pass. I don't know. I'm just glad we're all here together. And if you'd like to be here together, I know at least Herbert and I will be at the after party in Texas after the shareholder meeting in Bastrop at the Boring Bodega. That'll be a lot of fun.
Let's see what this looks like.
Join us.
doesn't-
And I will be changing diapers.
Aw. Your own?
Okay. I like the banter and discussion. Way more entertaining with the same info.
Okay.
Dude,
Do we
those
have
glasses
questions?
went right to Herbert's head. Man, these comments are great. Keep going. What else we got?
What happened?
Oh, he's just reading the comments. The glasses went right to your head, which, by the way, is where they go,
What?
people.
What does
Come
that
on.
mean? I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
Well, now you're all smart.
Thinks I'm. I don't know what the hell.
Invite Farzad so he can defend his honor. I've invited
Yeah,
Farzad
sure,
on
of
my
course.
show twice a year for 3.5 years, and he's just not interested. He'd rather he'd rather not. So
Rama.
whatever.
I mean, it doesn't sound like whatever. Let us know how you really feel.
He'd rather be wrong than talk to me. It's unfortunate.
So you're saying you're right?
And
On
then-
many topics.
Yeah. Omar had a good response to the comment you made.
Omar didn't have a
about-
single good response, but please go ahead.
Sure. In the you referenced the Walter Isaacson book, and you said this is what they said there. We've not heard them make that change. It's, and the same thing about the gig in Mexico. In the same paragraph, they talked about launching gig in Mexico, and then nothing happened. And it's like nobody made a comment saying that we're no longer going to do gig in Mexico. So,
Wait,
you know,
that was Omar's comment?
Plans change, and
That's not an argument for anything. That's a
okay.
false
Well, you
equivalency.
were referring to Walter Isaacson's book, and they said this, and then therefore you said we haven't heard
It's
them say
literally
anything
where
different.
this whole idea came out from. No one even would have known about this otherwise.
No, I know. But then but then you don't believe that all the info about the NV91 being canceled, you thought it was just fake.
I
So
don't
that's
believe
possible.
what Reuters says. No, I don't believe them as a primary source.
Yeah.
I believe them as trying to be the first to hit a headline.
Yeah.
And Elon said that they're wrong, by the way. We seem to have
Yeah.
left that part out.
Well,
So,
he said
said
fake
they're-
news, but
He said they're liars. He called them liars. Lawyers
Yeah.
are liars.
yeah. So I don't know. To me, I thought we were listening to what Elon says.
Oh, he says a lot of things. The important thing with a lot of it is there are times when we make bold statements and we're right, and times when we make bold statements and we're wrong. And unfortunately, a lot of the bold statements I've made that turned out right were deeply unpopular, and that just destroys the channel. It really causes harm to the finance.
So Herbert left a comment up there for a little bit saying, Nick, Lars said that the Cybercab won't have a steering wheel. Guys, yes, the Cybercab, the one that they're going to put out there with the moniker of Cybercab, you're right, it won't have a steering wheel.
Okay.
The vehicle XYZ that has the same silhouette and is built on the same line, that will have a steering wheel, and it'll have 4 seats, and it'll probably have 4 doors.
Yeah, there you go. So that
Different
makes
car.
sense. I guess we didn't. that was the misunderstanding of the debate.
But no, it's not a misunderstanding. Sorry. Sorry. I'm not going to let you guys
seats
get
and
away with
4
that.
doors
It is not
a different car.
No. You all, I won't say you all. I don't know about, I didn't see what you specifically said, Brian or Herbert. Herbert, you claim to have stayed out of it. Omar, Warren Redlick, Nick Cruz, whatever his name is, all of them were literally bashing on Farzad, saying, no, that's not what's going to happen. That it's there. And Brian, you sit here and try to be like, oh, it's a different car. No, it's very clear what Farzad was arguing, that the same production equipment that they're putting in right now to build the Cybercab will also be utilized to build another vehicle that looks very similar to the Cybercab, but makes more sense for economies of scale. So to sit there and be like, well, it's a different car. It's not the Cybercab. Like, clearly, you can name it whatever you want. His point is very clear. The whole idea is to maximize the utilization of that equipment.
So if it has 4 seats and 4 doors, that's just a new model. That's
Okay, so if
Yeah, that
I
makes
have
sense.
the
Absolutely.
Cybertruck line and I just take out the whole back seat, that's a different vehicle? That's not the same vehicle?
That's not what you're talking about. If you
That
turn
is what I'm talking about.
then,
Okay. Well, it's
then
a
you're
definition
mistaken.
mistake, right?
I'm not.
'Cause-
You can't say I'm
No,
mistaken.
no. Okay.
About my
The
own
understanding
point.
that the most
You're
of the people
mistaken by not understanding
Yes.
what Farzad was saying.
Right,
You both
exactly.
are.
Okay, then that's the case. I think most people thought he was saying that you take the Cybercab, you just add steering wheels and pedals to it, and we're saying no, you can't because it's designed a certain way, right? So but
Wait,
you're
why
saying
can't
no,
you?
no.
Why can't you?
Well, there's a million reasons why
Give me
the car
one.
was. Well, Brian can go on for 30 minutes.
Million, but you can't even give one.
Brian can. He can go on for
But you said these words. Don't cop out and go to Brian. You said there's
let's go through it.
millions.
Do you want to go through it?
No, give me one.
From what
Herbert.
I've heard from Brian.
No, okay, what do you think? What's Herbert think up here? Not what I hear Brian said once from someone he heard.
Just to be clear, there are some things that I will have very strong opinions in, and others I don't. So somebody goes, somebody put, he's sitting the fence again. Yeah, sometimes you don't need to. I demand. I don't know, right? It can go either way. Honestly.
I don't know. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yes, I just said that. I am not like you who's
there's millions of reasons why they won't. I'm using your words. Your words.
Can you be clear what we're saying here, right? The current Cybercab, the way it's designed, for it to just put on steering wheel and pedal doesn't make sense for a million reasons. I could go on, and I know Brian can go on for 30 minutes. Well, let Brian do it because he does a fantastic job. The wheels, the speed limit, the back seats, no rear view, no side mirrors. Everything is designed only to go 85 miles per hour. The tires are smaller. They're not really meant for sharp curves and speeds. There's no cup holders. It's very not designed for something two-seater, all that kind of stuff. So, okay, that specific vehicle. But you said that this Unbox model can create a slightly different vehicle using the same kind of shape. Totally agree with you. Of course, they're going to create multiple. It's not just designing one vehicle. Of course, there's going to be multiple kinds of vehicles. And if they needed to, they can create a drivable vehicle that they will sell a $25,000, $30,000 car using that model. That has not been the debate. I guess I totally misunderstood, I think, majority of people of what he was saying. Because that's not I'm watching the debate between Omar and as far as that's not what I'm hearing. Maybe he said that at his video, but that's not what I understood it to be. So I'm mistaken.
Let me address him first before you jump in, Brian. So first of all, you did not give a single thing. You said they're saying there's no side mirrors. Actually, there are side mirrors. You said there's no steering wheel pedals or whatever. No, hold on. My turn.
No. Of course there are for this particular. You can see them driving around today, and because they're using it for tests. That was one of the points
you made.
Yes, I know that. It's very clear. They have them.
And why'd you make that as one of your points?
Well, no, I make, okay, so I guess I can go through, let Brian explain all the reasons.
Go ahead, Brian.
I can go through this.
Seeing mirrors.
Sorry. One last time, real quick. Yeah. Guys, we're all friends. We
are all friends.
Chill out.
Yeah. When this is done, we're the Looney Tunes characters punching out at the end of the day. See you tomorrow.
We're talking about a freaking steering wheel in the car. Like, we don't really give two.
It's very easy. About it. It's very easy.
I can glue mirrors onto a bicycle. That doesn't mean that that's good for production. What's good for a prototype or a test bed are not always good for production. If you're going to put in mirrors, you need a new wiring harness. But they could just add a new wiring harness. Yeah, you need heaters in the mirrors, you need dimmers in the mirrors, you need folding in the mirrors. That's a wiring harness. You need that. So it's not just add mirrors. You've got to look at the other systems involved.
You don't need any of that.
Yes, you do. So then when you've got, this is Tesla we're talking about. You think they're going to just glue on mirrors? That's crazy talk.
They did for the Cybertruck, and they also just did that with these new affordable vehicles.
Okay, so you want that? Okay, sure. Great, let's do that. The cooling system isn't good. I mean, I've made hours of videos on this. I don't know if you've watched them. I even had a chance to review it 2 weeks ago on Herbert's channel with CERN. The systems are very different. If you're saying they're going to build a 4-seater with 4 doors, and you're saying that's not a different car, I'm saying it is a different car. That's not what Farzad was saying. He showed a picture of the Cybercab with a steering wheel and said, "See, I was right." I don't know, man. That's not how any of this works. It's bonkers. And I would love to see a 2-seater. I would love it. But it's not on the roadmap at this time. And the fact that the chairman of the board that Robin Denholm is saying it may, if that's what's required for regulation, tells me that it's not. I mean, of course it could. A lot of things could. And tap dancing over a victory this hollow is ridiculous and
Well,
unbecoming.
He can keep going on if you want to know all
he
the
didn't.
things that they
He
would
didn't
need
actually
to
say single
change
point. He didn't say
for the
single one.
cyber. Go through the list of all things they would need to change for the cybercab in order to be sold to a consumer.
Hold on.
Yeah, a drivable car.
Okay, fine.
Oh,
go.
you want to hear those things? Okay, so
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what he's waiting for.
the motors don't have enough power. You need different motors.
Why?
Because these are not designed to pull more than a gentle half G. These are this is a golf cart. It is designed like a golf cart. It's going to have very weak motors.
If it's good enough for cybercab, why wouldn't it be good enough for a more affordable?
Because humans
luxury car?
don't drive like a cybercab. Because grandma mode, 85 horsepower, is not going to drag you around. I don't know if the number's actually 85, but it could be 100, 110. It won't
But
be a
it
fun
hold
drive.
luggage. You can hold 2 people in there already. So,
So?
why wouldn't that suffice?
Because 85 suffices. I mean, do you know how many cars have had 40 horsepower historically?
Okay, so that's my
cars, big
point.
cars.
So why wouldn't that be good enough? Why can't we keep that?
Because humans don't drive that way. And then you've got the cooling system. If you're
I mean,
going to
what-
drive it
what
aggressively, which
that?
is what humans do, you have to have
Again,
that
not all
engineering
humans drive
headroom
aggressively.
in
That's
there.
not true.
That the
You're
cooling
making
loop is no
assumptions.
longer inadequate. Is no
All
longer.
right. So
no.
see, these aren't real arguments. This
No,
is your
what the engineers
opinion.
said. This is how humans operate cars.
There are lots of engineers at Tesla who have been wrong and who don't actually know what's going on with the product roadmap. There's plenty.
team
There's plenty
leaders?
who have left.
Sure.
Yeah, and there's lots of them who get fired. There's lots of them who don't even understand the roadmap. There's lots of them that don't know what the pivot plans are.
Oh, so just to clarify then, Nick, are you personally are arguing, it sounds like, that you could take the existing cybercab, slap on steering wheels and pedals and sell that?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
You don't design something like this without other
Even two-seater? You're okay
contingencies.
with that? You think that there's a massive market for two-seaters? 500,000 cars?
I'm not saying that's going to be 2-seaters. I'm not saying it's going to be
Okay.
anything. All I'm saying is that they are
what are you saying?
not. It could be 3-seater. It could be a no-seater. I don't know what they're going to do. My point is they're not going to build out this infrastructure.
I think we
to
agree
build
on that.
But you don't, because
We
if it's the exact same silhouette as the Cybercab right now,
Yeah.
maybe you throw on a glass ceiling instead,
Yeah.
and it's got 4
exactly.
seats in it. Are you telling me that's not the same vehicle?
Well, I'm not saying that it's a vehicle. I'm saying that it's not the cybercab that we've seen on the road today, or what we're seeing now. It's changed. But yeah, of course,
But
they're
you're
going to make
saying something
multiple
different than what
variations.
Brian is saying. I'm saying that they're going to design this to be a cybercab where it will be very easy for them to also convert it to. You keep saying yes, but you're chalking up this
Not
as a
the
debate.
existing, not likely the existing cybercab that we exist, which you agree to. So there we go.
But Farzad's
We
not
agree.
sitting there also arguing that every nut and bolt is the exact same thing that's going to be.
Then that's the
That's not what he's
misunderstanding on
arguing
my
either.
side. I was a total
Kinda he
misunderstanding
is.
on most people's
That is,
side.
show me where he's arguing that. Please, someone pull it up. Pull it up. Let's see what he's arguing.
I guess
if
it
we're
was a
going to sit here have a debate
misunderstanding.
on this, we should bring up what the actual initial
Paul
argument is.
Bolton in the comments just a little bit ago said that he is still arguing that today.
He's
Hey,
not. I've been
okay.
on with him. We've talked about this.
Okay,
Oh,
then there's
sure,
a
he'll
huge
talk to
misunderstanding.
you.
Well, I'm cute.
It makes
Okay.
sense. That's fair.
It's
No, I'll
simple as
argue
that.
that. Guys, I'm going to duck out because there's an after show coming up in just 7 minutes where I will address a lot of the questions and comments that have come in. I'm going to take a quick break and I'll see you back after that. But what I really want to do is see you guys in Bastrop, Texas next week. So we
Love you,
will
buddy.
check it out. Love you too, my friend.
Yeah, okay.
Bye-bye
No,
for
that's
now.
good. I think what we accomplished today is like there's a misunderstanding maybe on my side, what I think most people thought. And like I said, I'm not.
It looks
I'm
like
not
someone just
making-
dropped it in there. Can you click on that? Can we see what it says?
I can't click on it. That's a problem. I can't even copy it.
Oh.
So I tried to copy it and I can't even easily copy it. So I can't get there. Again, there's not everything I have a strong opinion on, and I'm not fighting for it. So
it's fine, but it's when you sit there and say there's a million reasons and you came and tell me one.
Well,
and
no,
all
I
the
mean,
reasons Brian said were not real reasons. Who are you to say that a
that's your
certain
opinion.
motor
That's
they're going to
great.
put in there, a certain motor is not one that suffices? Like, how do you know?
Okay, I guess I don't know, and you don't know either. But
The
I guess
side
what I'll say
mirrors,
is this.
same thing. That's not an
I guess I'll
argument.
say this is that
You
the
can
way-
have cameras. Someone just said that.
Yeah, of course you can. The way Elon and Tesla works is that if you are designing something with autonomy first in mind, you design it with all
The vehicles are
mass
designed that
production.
way. They all are. For anyone who doesn't know, for
Okay.
years, the 3 and the Y have been designed so you can cap the steering wheel and remove the pedals and you're good to go. They've been designed this way. They've been designed autonomy first.
Yeah.
All of them. So
Okay.
it's just it just is so obvious
I
that
mean,
this
that,
is
no,
not.
I mean that like a very good example would be like the Cybercab is designed for autonomy first. One example is, the seating, right? It's easy to clean. There's no crevices, so that you can totally clean that thing, right? It's going to last a long time. It's all those kind of things. Like just that's
Yeah,
one example,
but
right?
Herbert, Herbert,
No
the Model Y
cups,
Performance and the Model Y Standard have two different seats. Are you telling me that is that not still the same vehicle?
right? Okay, yes,
Is it? It is, right?
so that's again, that's the misunderstanding, is that you're saying that they will make changes to the car and then that will sell. Absolutely. The Unbox model is designed to make multiple
Hold
different
on, real quick.
versions.
Someone says Nick is so wrong. He blatantly does not know car. Guys, I'm a mechanical electrical engineer with a
Yeah.
subdiscipline nuclear. Like to think that I don't actually understand what I'm talking about, I do. I
Yeah,
literally grew up working on cars. I've rebuilt so many Model Ts. Like that's just comical to even make claims like that. Get out of here.
Yes. Okay. So again,
Saw
it's
them like
about
guys.
it's
Don't
about
question my
definition.
mechanical prowess.
Yeah, it's about definition of what we're saying and who's what saying, right? And there you go. As simple as that, I think. Yes, they're going to make all sorts of changes. They can sell this as a drivable car, but not that version that we're watching. There's going to be changes to it. Now, and then your argument is it's the same car. If you change this, this is still the same car. Okay, you're right. Then you're right. But
Do you agree with that though?
That it can be, yeah, at some point it does in a different car. Like a 4-seater is not the same as a 2-seater.
But here's the other point. Listen,
you can say this a Cybercab XL, right? The L, because you can add another row to it, but it's like totally different. You can't have. Can you have a gull wing doors, butterfly doors, scissor doors when you have 4s, right? Maybe.
Dude, just look at trucks. Trucks all the time put different types of doors on, but it's still the same truck. You have some trucks that have 2 doors. You have some that have those suicide doors. You like there's all kinds of like ways you can build this. Like it's just a fucking door. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Okay.
It's just a door. Like, you can put whatever you want on there. But the bigger point is, or I think that far as I was kind of saying, like the reason I think he was saying checkmate, which maybe it's check, not checkmate. The reason he's saying check, it is check, is because she's acknowledging that if they are able to have to put in a steering wheel and pedals if they have to, clearly you would think they've been designing it from an engineering perspective already to have that lever to pull just in case. They're not going to go back to the drawing board because regulation all of a sudden something like, oh, we didn't see this coming. Obviously they see it coming. They see the risk. They're going to plan for it ahead of time. And so they're making decisions for that as well.
Yeah, but you can read that statement in 2 ways, right? One way is simply that if regulation requires that a autonomous vehicle needs to have steering wheel and pedals and side mirrors and all that, they can do that. But doesn't mean you can jump to the conclusion that if they put steering wheels and pedals to the Cybercab, they're going to use that and sell that in mass as the low-cost vehicle to presumably millions and millions, more than the Model 3s and Model Ys, that they think, okay, they're going to take then you're saying, oh, it's going to be a 4-seater and all that. Okay, then you're right. Then that's not, again, the question is, when does it no longer become that Cybercab? And if it's just, they're going to use the same Unbox model, you're right. Absolutely, they can do that. That's why they went to steer-by-wire. They can easily swap it out left, right, or none. That's why they went to steer-by-brake. Yes, that's what I'm saying to you. Like, it's about the definitions of what people understood of what you're saying and what he's saying and what other people were saying. So, but you can't assume that just because you heard what she said, the chairwoman, that means that this is going to be the mass, that they are going to sell this to customers because they can't sell enough autonomous vehicles. I take it to more mean that, that they can sell it that way if regulation requires that for autonomous vehicles. Because the definition of an autonomous vehicle, I think there's only 2,500. Each vehicle manufacturers limited to 2,500 vehicles that are truly autonomous, that just skips all these other regulations that require steering wheel, pedals, side mirrors, rear view, those kind of things. So that's what I think that was for. But if you're assuming that now means that, we won, they're going to sell it as a mass market. Now, the argument that you can have 1 million Cybercabs built next year, 2 years from now, but there's not enough of regulation to approve it. Therefore, let's go and sell it to as drivable cars first to reduce your risk. That's the interesting conversation.
Well, it's not just that. That's part of it, right? But even then, let's say that you can do 1 million a year. All right, you're going to saturate the United States pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Right. There's what is it like? You keep me honest, like 400,000 Uber drivers, something like that. It's fairly low, right? So like, yeah. So you need to have another release valve for that production line where it can still be highly utilized, right? Otherwise, this is a big issue from an economies of scale perspective, and they want to be profitable on this new infrastructure that they're going to be installing. And so the idea, I think, would be you could continue to build on that same a very affordable car, and then you could ship that to, say, South America and countries where, South America is not like the United States. Here in the United States, we have laws and how we drive on our roads. In South America, it's suggestions. It's a whole different.
That's one strategy, is to create a drivable car. While, like he said, we're in this horseless carriage era, so there's a time that they'll keep making driverless cars as well as drivable cars. One other option that Søren Bascher has modeled out, and he thinks could be an option, is that let's say that there's only 400,000 Uber drivers out there, and so you get 400,000, and what do you do with the other million per year? What Søren was suggesting is that you can take the state of Texas and not just do 10,000 cars, but do 500,000. And what happens is you will showcase that in Texas, your cost for a mile is so low, it's like $1 or less, that you can then replace buses, car ownership, just completely show this model of what a true autonomous society could look like. And he goes, why wouldn't they just do that? So you're not just replacing rideshare anymore, you're replacing transportation. Totally.
Well,
and if he calculates that way, he's going, yeah, you can totally flood just the state of Texas, just the state of California, just the state of Florida, flood them with way more than you would if you were just there for ride hail.
Yeah, but you're okay. But so okay, on paper that can make sense. In reality, that won't work. The reason is, have you spent a lot of time in Texas? Like, I know you've been to Austin a couple times. Okay,
not too much.
People in Texas like their
Cars.
vehicles. They like driving. Like it's part of their identity. Like, I know, like, a lot of people think it is part of their identity. It's more. It's like, you got square toes. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about. You got square toes. You got your truck. Like, there's a certain thing about it. And so I think a lot of people will be quick to adopt autonomy, even those people. But to have the type of disruption Søren's talking about, I don't think Texas is your state to use that as an example. I think maybe like Arizona, even a good portion of Florida could be good for that. I think good portion of California could be for that, but you're not going to, on paper, it makes sense. Like, I get it, financially, everything, but people make stupid financial decisions every day. And even then, you need different modes of transportation. Like, there's just some things that you're just going to want a pickup truck for. And there are just some things that you're going to want to, like, if I'm cutting down a tree and I want to put some stumps up and I want to go and drive on top of the lawn, well, the car's autonomy is probably not going to want to do that, but I need to back it up to load this gear. It's, I don't know. I think there's lots of little gaps where you're still going to want to have human operated vehicles for a long, long time.
Yeah, I agree. And then
I agree. The bulk of driving, I agree.
And I'm like I said, I'm not 100% certain, bang on my foot and a fist on the table that Tesla's no longer going to create a low cost vehicle that's drivable. And it makes a lot of sense to now triple down on the Unbox model. So, yeah, that's very possible.
And again, I don't really care about this argument. I'm just more so defending people who are crapping on Farzad, who don't ever go out there and put their neck out or just put out an idea. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of listeners here, but a lot of people here in the comments are just keyboard warriors, but you never see them go out and actually put an opinion out there either. So I think when someone's in the arena, respect that they're in the arena, even if you don't agree with them, and you can disagree in a polite way.
Yep.
But I don't
You
think
know,
that the people who have a presence in test community, a lot of them were doing it in a very petulant way, which I thought warranted calling out.
yeah. There's some things that I'm very, very pretty sure, and I make huge bets with Alexandra and Jeff on. Like the one I thought for sure was that Tesla would create a Zoox-like model, not the Cybercab, and I was wrong on that one. I really thought that a autonomous first vehicle would have been the Zoox, and then of course the Walter Isaacson book proved that that's what I think Elon was thinking first, and then he was convinced, just in case, let's have a more of a traditional car look as opposed to truly. I do think that they're going to create a robo-van, and I think that they're going to create a robo-van that fits 4 people, like more like the London cab, 6 people. And so they're going to make a version that is going to look like a Zoox, and that will come out
Herbert,
soon.
you're not wrong. You're just early.
Yeah.
Like here, follow my thought process on this, and this is why again, like, I don't want to keep talking about the same argument because honestly, it's just stupid. It's just like what everyone was talking about last night on X. But to kind of give like a little more validation to the idea of using that line, you're right. Actually, it probably does not make sense to make a car in this fashion for robotaxi. Right? It probably really doesn't. You could do so much more with the inside of the vehicle. People can talk about aerodynamics and all that. Like, all right, but at that point, like, why does it really matter? We might as well bias for a better experience than the ultimate aerodynamic vehicle, right? It kind of makes more sense to do that because people will pay more for that. People want certain experiences. And I do think we will get to that. And I think that's kind of what the Cybervan or Robovan is trending
Elevator
towards.
doors. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I know people are probably thinking like, oh, you can have, that's for like buses and many people. I wouldn't be so certain about that eventually that will be the means of 1 person or 2 people getting around.
Yeah.
Right. I could see a world where that happens. But the reason I say that you're just early is the Cybercab, like it's badass. It looks cool. Right. But it gives them, again, that outlet to defend against government and regulators and allow them to do the first step into full autonomy without the risk of, hey, we built this box that now we can't even sell if we need to be profitable. Once that is ubiquitous and autonomy is just second nature, then Herbert will be right.
Right.
So,
driverless carriage scenario, right? You got to
exactly.
look like what everybody sees.
But that's also why
first.
Farzad's right. It's
Just
because you have that lever of an outlet intentionally. And again, the 3 and Y were built essentially on the same line. Why? Because they needed to have the economies of scale to become a profitable company, which is the most obvious reason, why this will be. And I saw someone saying that the 3 and Y will move over into the Unbox method. That won't happen.
No.
For the same reason the S and X didn't go into gig casting, right? It doesn't make sense. You want to depreciate the assets you have already. So like, again,
that makes sense.
Go watch old videos of Rob Mauer. He talks about this ad nauseum and does it so well. It's a masterclass in unit economics.
Perfect. Great knowledge and information. I learned a few things. Thank you very much. Stay on and you'll be transferred to Brian White. He's waiting for you to do Q&A in his sessions that he does. Thanks, everybody.